What could possibly go wrong indeed? Should I do the intro, or how do we do the intros? Oh, we need to do a clap sync.
Oh yeah, so Matt, do you want to do clap sync here? So I'll just count 3, 2, 1, then we clap.
Okay, wait. You're
You have to do it at the same time.
Well, I can't. I couldn't hear anything there, partly because my sinuses are blocked up, and partly because I've got these on. So when I clapped, it sounded like I made no noise whatsoever, and all I could hear was John clapping. So I don't know if that was a satisfactory clap or not, but
the claps have to be at the same time, or else you can't sync up the audio.
Well, we'll get it lined up, even if it's on, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, how about I'll do our hey Shannon, except not Shannon.
Okay.
All right. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So hey Graham, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. So we're at SciPy, and we're doing another crossover episode with Skype and Hangouts and Audacity and people everywhere. What could go wrong?
Woo-hoo. Welcome to the show, the second, I believe, combined Undersampled Radio, Don't Panic Geocast podcast.
sure.
Yeah, so we've got Matt from Undersampled and Graham here, and we've also got a listener to the Geocast, Andrew, joining us today.
This is my third year attending SciPy after hearing about it on Don't Panic Geocast a few years ago, and I'm having a great time.
Sweet. Have you? What's your favorite talk that you've seen so far?
I really like to talk about machine learning, but given by someone who hadn't done machine learning before, which was great because I've never done machine learning before, so it helps illuminate the process of figuring out the different steps and learning on as she went along.
That's cool. Was it a tutorial style, or was it?
It was just a talk.
Okay, cool. So did she kind of take you through one project that she had done?
Yes, she was extracting dates from news articles where the formats wouldn't necessarily be consistent, like over different websites and languages.
Cool.
And daytime formats.
Cool.
And so on.
That's awesome. So are you going to start doing a machine learning project?
There isn't really much need for it at the moment with my work, but it helped me in case I do need to do that at some point.
Awesome. What do you do for work?
I work at a government agency in DC, working with a lot of economic data, but I'm also just generally the technological glue, kind of doing whatever, programming stuff they need or technological stuff, short of like setting up like new hardware. So all sorts of things, from analysis to monitoring, keeping things running smoothly.
Cool. Are you doing engineering work as well, or?
I am not. So I am not a scientist. Maybe I could be defined as a data scientist, but hard for me to put myself in a bin given the wide array of things I'm responsible for.
No,
Okay, so now I want to know how you were listening to Don't Panic Geocast 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a podcast problem and I just listened to a ton, and anytime I heard about a new podcast, I'd listen to that one. So I think it was the Orbital Mechanics maybe did a crossover.
We did a crossover thing.
And then I found Don't Panic, and it just started from episode 1 and enjoyed it a lot.
That's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes indeed.
What episode are you on?
I think we're pushing 150 this week or next week. Yeah.
Wow, this is 81.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, and did you say had or have a podcast problem? I missed the tense of that.
Oh, I had one. I've gotten a bit better lately.
That's what I thought you said.
Like 30 podcasts, 40 podcasts at 2 times speed was a bit ridiculous. So I've culled that list quite significantly, but Don't Panic stays on the list.
2 times speed is a lifesaver. I did a Google data engineer certification recently, and there were literally weeks worth of videos you had to watch to go through, and you just physically had to go through all the videos. So 2x speed, roll it. That's nice.
It's really nice. There's so much content out there now that like even YouTube videos. If you're doing the new HTML player, you can speed them up. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I can't do 2 times. I sort of seem to max out at like 1.5, maybe 1.75, depending on who it is.
I have to ramp up. So I start at 1 and then I go up a quarter, and like when I'm really focused on the material, I'm at 2 and I'm just jamming. And And then as I get towards the end, I kind of ramp it back. You know?
Yeah.
The problem is if somebody interrupts you at 2x, you know, like, hey, did you see that email? You know, oh no, where am I?
I've just missed an hour of material. So do you find yourself now starting to talk really quickly to people because you just assume they want to listen to everything you say at 2 times speed? It's like, come on, guys, let's move this along. Like, I got stuff to do here. I got 40 podcasts.
I was actually a little concerned when I first introduced myself to John that I wouldn't know how to talk to him because I would expect him to be talking twice as fast. It turns out it was fine.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, I think they should also let you keep the pitch. Like, don't like have the pitch shift or not the pitch shift, because I think it could be quite amusing to listen to it at just 2x.
So we've threatened before to when I edit our show, I often do it at pretty close to 2x.
Okay.
Which makes it hard to catch some of the breaks. Try to get out some of the dead time. But I've threatened, you know, like an April Fool's release where we just release the show at 2x. So the people that play it in 2x have no idea what's going on.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's quite a nice idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all hanging out at SciPy, except for Matt, who's on a screen down at the end of the table.
Yeah.
And
I feel like I'm sort of, you know, there by proxy now, at least. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Graham, I'm really curious what you've heard at SciPy that's got you excited this year so far.
Lightning talks.
Yes.
Lightning talks have been so awesome.
Yeah.
So this is day 2 of talks, and it is day 1 of talks for me was a bit light. I was not super impressed with the talks that I saw, but the lightning talks were amazing.
It was an hour of lightning talks, so like 10 or 12 or so.
Yep. So my favorite one was Vax. Have you guys used this?
No.
I did. Matt, have you used it?
What is it?
Vax, VAEX.
No.
It is out of core pandas.
Oh, okay.
So this lightning talk, so in case you don't know, like I didn't, lightning talks are 5 minutes at SciPy. And so this guy gets up there and just starts writing a bunch of stuff in a notebook. And he's like showing, you know, like LS outputs, and he has like I don't remember what it was, 64 gigabyte data, raw piece of data. And he just starts doing regular pandas, like import, you know, like read CSV, boom. And he's just like doing manipulations, data aggregation, even visualization on this 64 gigabyte file, which was pretty sweet. It's all pandas like syntax.
Yeah, I love how some of the lightning talks are they're basically the sort of thing that most people would devote maybe even 2 full talks to. You know, like it's like a major product announcement, or not product, but, you know, new tool announcement or some kind of big thing. And people are just like, no, I can do that in 4 minutes and 50 seconds. It's highly efficient. I love it.
Well, and we even had one yesterday where the person said, you know, I just found out I'm giving this about an hour ago, so I have no slides. Here we go. And
awesome.
Yeah, did a great job. But I haven't seen any this year yet that are of the goofy variety that we've had in past years, of, you know, like the waffle talk or the machine learning on what makes a good burrito from last year. But I'm sure that's coming. We've still got 2 more days to go.
I met someone, so just to give you a little preview, I met someone today who said he's giving a lightning talk on a transpiler he wrote, so you can code, I forget which language, maybe it was Python, it would make sense if it was Python, without using the letter E.
Oh, Jonathan Ellis, yeah.
Well, thank goodness. Finally someone got to that. Are any of you guys planning a lightning talk?
They're full.
Yeah, they're totally full. So for the last 2 years, I've got one that I would love to have given. But if you get to the board like 5 minutes after they put the sheets up, it's all gone.
Oh, wow. So they put the sheets up like at the beginning of the first day, and then that's it for 3 days?
Yes, that's it for 3 days. It really, I think they're going to have to go to a day by day.
No, they just need more lightning talk time.
Or more lightning talk time, yeah.
It's basically the whole conference at 2x.
So I mean, the one I really want to give is Hardware Isn't Scary, talking to hardware with Python, with the end result being you take one of those little $10 drones that you can buy off Amazon, hook it up with a joystick, like a flight simulator joystick, and use Python and Pygame to fly the drone hardware with the joystick.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
hey, Justin just showed up.
I'm gonna sneak it up.
Justin,
Yeah, do it. You won't be able to hear Matt unless we do something clever.
yeah, I can hear you. Though I can hear him though. I guess I can't say. I can
Matt
hear
is saying that here. Hold on, let me give you a headphone.
you. He could just tune into the live thing on
Oh, that's true.
the Hangouts YouTube with
It would be quite a
by
bit
the magic
lag.
of the internet.
Can you hear him?
Yep.
Good. What's happening at SciPy for you, Justin?
I just saw a very cool talk by Virginia at Appbox.
Yeah.
At identifying buildings and roads and satellite imagery.
And aerial as well, or just satellite?
Both, yeah.
Cool.
And so there's potentially some applications to photographs taken by the astronauts in space, because we know only approximately where they were when they took the photo, but we don't know what the photo is taking a picture of, or what the coordinates of the photo are. But if you were able to identify roads right, you could probably work backwards to find the coordinates of that photograph.
That's pretty interesting. I wonder what's the degeneracy of street patterns across locations.
Yeah, so
It's all grids.
there's a bunch of different things I can think of why it probably wouldn't work very well, but it's kind of the first thing I've seen that kind of is working in that general direction. That seems like it works well for some problems in space. So that was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fascinating how many problems there are with reconciling different geospatial data sets, of things taken from different angles or with different representations of the Earth. And people are just realizing that the easiest way to reconcile them is just with deep learning, rather than trying to figure out how to line things up and use sort of first principles. You can actually just sort of let the machine figure it out. There's been some chat recently about making sort of landscape photographic style ground level views out of satellite photographs, and then people were speculating on Swung about finding outcrops that way, finding places where there's geological outcrops. I love that.
There's a company here called Descartes Labs, and I don't know if you guys have talked to them, but I had never heard of them, but they're just basically doing analysis of satellite imagery, boutique analysis on a per customer basis. I assume, so they don't acquire the data, I assume they buy it from Planet Labs or something, but they're doing things like predicting crop yields for hedge funds and stuff. It's pretty cool. I mean, that would be a sweet gig, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty interesting thing. And I'm sure they buy some from Planet, but probably also some from some of the other commercial satellite providers, because I'm assuming they're doing some hyperspectral things that Planet's Leeman doesn't do yet. Yeah. That's actually somebody I haven't seen a lot here at the conference this year, is folks from Planet. I'm sure there are a few floating around. It seemed like last year there were quite a few.
Well, maybe they're like me and they just sort of got. I feel like I got this saturation point with SciPy, and it's like I can't do this every year. It's my life is already characterized by each day filling a sheet with lists of things to do, and managing to tick off 3 things from another list of things to do. This sort of exponent, but I mean, SciPy is just off the scale. like 40 pages out of your notebook. That
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's awesome, but yeah. But I do kind of wish I was there. One of the things I did last time I was at SciPy was a buzzword bingo because there were so many amusing buzzwords around. What keeps popping up over and over again this year? Is out of core a big thing, or is VAEX just one of them?
There's been a lot of talk about parallelism,
Yeah.
distributed tasks. We were introduced to a new to me library yesterday called Ray, which is sort of this guy claims it's not a competitor to Dask, but it seems
directly.
Maybe I just don't know enough, but it seems like the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's Ray, you said?
Yeah. ROI. So get out that notebook.
But there's a lot of Bayesian talks this year. Yeah. Into Bayesian statistics, and there's even a tutorial that Andrew went to on Bayes.
I did. The first half was really good. I think it was like the third or fourth time I tried to understand Bayesian statistics, and I think I'm almost there. The second half got awfully difficult because they were doing real world application analyses, and I always kind of peter off after like the first 2 hours. But it was very informative, and it was enjoyable.
The 4-hour tutorial format is pretty intense.
Very intense.
It's very, very condensed. And I actually found out, I was talking to one of the instructors for that tutorial last night, Hugo from DataCamp, who he also has a podcast that he does through DataCamp.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there are several podcasters floating around here.
Nice.
It's pretty fun. And, we had, for the first time ever, I think at SciPy, we had an actual Swung meetup, sort of.
We did.
Days ago, so that was great. Graham put that together for us.
And there was even an artist there who sketched our dinner table.
Yeah, who did that sketch?
Some rando off the street.
Oh, seriously?
Very nice. It was very nice of him, yeah. We were sitting in a corner of a restaurant, and both of the walls that our backs were to were glass, looking right out onto 6th Street. And some artist was out there and just started sketching us and was showing us his progress through the window intermittently, and then at the end came in and gave us the painting. He gave us the sketch. It was really nice.
Yeah, neat. Yeah, it was really really great to see. That's the first time. Yeah, I guess I feel like I think I met you, John, for the first time at SciPy, right?
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure it's the first time I met Leo Uyeda and also Joe Kington.
Yeah,
and possibly even I think I'd met Rowan Cockett before. Maybe. Anyway, it's an awesome place to meet up. Yeah.
Yeah, and last night we bumped into some folks from one of the industry corporations out in the Denver area. So we were chatting with them at dinner. There's a good geo presence here this year. It keeps getting larger and larger and larger.
Okay, that's great to hear. Is there a separate geoscience track again this year?
There is, and it was standing/sitting/in the hallway room only this morning.
Oh, wow.
It was really packed.
Yeah.
A lot of the sessions have been slammed. I wonder if they need a bigger venue or just bigger rooms in this venue.
So if you can believe this, Matt, the conference, I think last time you were here was 3 years ago, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was probably roughly 600 people, 550.
That's right.
It's over 800 this year.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was talking to Jill from InThought, and she said that they underestimated, including them extrapolating the growth rate, they underestimated signups by quite a bit.
Yeah, that's great. And it sounds like all the buzz is still there. Are there sprints again this weekend?
Yep.
Yeah. Are you guys planning anything geo-wise for the weekend?
I'm going to be here for the weekend. I have not decided what I'm going to sprint on. So, are you going to be around this weekend, Greg?
I'll be around. I don't know what sprints. I don't know what that means really, but I'm excited.
It's they have a bunch of rooms open. Everybody can sit around. They provide lots of caffeine and lots of Swedish fish and gummy bears and jelly beans. And it's 2 days to code. InThought buys everybody pizza and bowling.
Awesome.
I think the end of the first night. Yeah, it's great fun.
Awesome.
And that's
Yeah, we did a kind of geophysics sprintlet.
Yeah, we tried one year. There was just a few of us.
Yeah.
And I think we were working on, it was your logging, strip log.
That's right. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's you know it lasted, and then the following year, a few of us worked on Bruges, and we basically rebuilt Bruges. And yeah, it was, and that was just for the Saturday. I think both times we just did the Saturday. Have you ever done a MetPy sprint there?
We did a MetPy sprint last year.
Okay.
We had a pretty large gathering of the people that directly used MetPy last year. Unfortunately, due to conference timing, a bunch of them are not here this year. They just got back from Japan from a Lightning conference. So I don't know if we have a critical mass to do a MetPy sprint this year.
I assume a Lightning conference is not like a 1 hour conference.
Right. It's a normal conference, just at 3 times speed. Yeah, so we'll. I'm excited to see what we can cook up this weekend in terms of sprinting, but there's still a lot of conference to go before that. We're all going to be pretty tired.
I was just pulling up the schedule for this afternoon. Matt, I'll give you a breakdown of some of the talks that are going on. Performing dimension reduction at scale with applications to public sentiment models. That's cool. Oh, Matt's favorite, reproducibility and software sustainability. Jupyter Notebook-driven development with Python Interactive. DevOps.
There's still a lot of notebook stuff going on because the Jupyter guys are always there in force. I assume it's still a big thing.
Oh yeah, lots of notebooks, lots of excitement. Jupyter Lab.
Jupyter Hub 2 is like that was like a demo with like super computers a couple of times as well, which is kind of see.
Yeah, that is cool. Do you has the balance kind of flipped over to Jupyter Lab yet, or are most people just sort of anecdotally, are most people still in Jupyter Notebook?
I don't have a great feel for that. This is an atypical audience, of course, so I would say that a lot of people here are running Jupyter Lab. I think in the out in the wild users, there are probably still most people using notebooks. There are a few things that Jupyter Lab does not do or does differently that have caused some problems where we're actually still teaching with notebooks at work as well. And we taught a tutorial here this year, but it was not using Jupyter Notebooks at all. We taught a tutorial on setting up your own open source project, so how to use GitHub, and then set up Travis CI and write tests, and how to automate documentation building, and automate flake checks on your code base. So that was all just writing some scripts and connecting up online services. What could go wrong? But we were able to get about 40 people running Travis CI on their repos by the end of the tutorial.
Wow, that's one that you led this year, you said?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I went that Friday, May.
You know, I saw, have you played with Cookie Cutter?
I have not played with Cookie Cutter. It looks really cool.
Yeah. Have you seen this, Matt?
No.
It's just a little tiny library that sets up just basically like a project tree for you. It includes configuration and things. It's customizable, so if you're doing a lot of the same structured projects at work, you can configure it so you just you just use Cookie Cutter to build a new project for you, and everything's laid out the way you want, and you can just start working.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I could really use a proper workflow around that. Much more haphazard, much more kind of, how did I do this before? Which project shall I copy the pattern from? And then I end up with a patchwork quilt every time. Well, not a patchwork quilt, more like a pile of broken bricks. Still, you know, you live and learn, right?
Yeah, it's something we're struggling with as well, of having multiple repos, and every time that there's something that we need to change in a configuration file, we have to go change it in all of them. So we're trying to figure out some way to more centralize that. But Cookie Cutter certainly makes it easy for a scientist that's got a small library of stuff they use. Or I think one of the examples cited during the talk yesterday was if you have a postdoc that's leaving and they have all this code, this is a good way for them to help wrap it up and hand it over.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
and there's also that textbook Lightning talk yesterday that was really cool.
Yeah.
So taking a bunch of Jupyter notebooks and being able to compile them down to a textbook with this tool.
Okay. What's that tool called?
I don't remember what the name of it was.
Textbooks with Jupyter is what he. I don't remember what the name of the tool was.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Textbooks with Jupyter, you can find it.
Yeah, we're trying to do something similar to that right now, and it's, you know, I do like this sort of computable document aspect of notebooks, like that they're, in other words, that they're not just documents that contain computation, but that you can then post-process them and do things with them, either with Jupyter's tools or just by processing them yourself, because it's just JSON inside. And yeah, we've been, the tutorials that we do in the leading edge, and now, as Graham's just been through this process, we're trying to do them so that they're just a notebook, and then we can post-process it to turn it into the manuscript in a Word document, which is what, bizarrely, what the publication actually wants. But that process is becoming a bit smoother every time we go through it, and it's pretty powerful, I think.
You know, we need to write.
Hey?
So, you know, what we need to write is a collaboration widget for the Jupyter kernel, because the thing that I found most, the least seamless when we were going through that process of really drafting out a manuscript inside of a notebook is the lack of basically like highlighting, like editorial syntax.
Totally, yeah, it's brutal.
It's kind of ironic for a version control system, you know, because we're doing this through GitHub. It's kind of ironic that the version control system is not the best thing for doing version control compared to Google Docs or something.
Well, so did you use like MD-Dime to compare versions? Or?
No, but that's the thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't been doing that. And then there's Colab, or whatever it's called now, which, yeah, that's probably also, well, that's another way we could go. It's tricky, right? Because a lot of the authors, they start the conversation with, which LaTeX template shall I use? So it's like, I sort of try and be a little bit sensitive to the fact that people already have workflows that they're comfortable in, and writing everything in a Jupyter notebook might not be a great experience for them.
What's the name of the tool you mentioned?
MD-Dime. Yeah,
Right.
it's a diff tool for notebooks. It's pretty slick.
Cool, I haven't tried it. One more thing on the list.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, boys, we're coming up on our hour, and I got to eat before they run out of food.
All right, well,
Yeah,
this was great, and trying to get all of the setup for this was a little tricky, but I think we pulled it off. Hopefully the audio is not terrible, but this is certainly a strange episode for us.
Thanks for joining us on Don't Panic Geocast.
And thanks for joining us on Undersampled Radio.
We're out.